So, welcome today to our next issue of Inspired Good Fat Life. And as always, I am so excited by the guests that we have today. And before I introduce her, I just want to remind you that we have this beautiful issue, a beautiful issue of Good Fat Life. You can go to goodfatlife.com and find it. And it's just full of wonderful things. And I'm so loving this good fat journey. Every day is a new adventure. So that said, my guest today is Heather Heffley, and she is known as the Reiki lady. And I'm so excited to introduce Heather and also Reiki, right? So welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you.
Great to have you. So tell us about Reiki. So what is Reiki? Why don't you start with what is Reiki, and then you can tell us how you found it.
Sure. So Reiki is a form of hands-on healing. It's a Japanese technique. It's over 100 years old, and it came to the United States in the 50s. I came to Reiki because I was in the healing prayer group at a church, and I was struggling with the fact that some people were getting healing, some weren't, and some were having amazing experiences and some weren't. And so I wanted to know more. And I have a dental background, and I noticed in dentistry we network a lot. And I thought, why isn't there networking in religion? So that, in essence, brought me to Reiki as I went and searched other ways to help people heal.
Okay, so you've got a science background, so in the field of dentistry, in that world. So your mind kind of works looking for how bodies work, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so so can you talk a little bit more about the science of Reiki? What does Reiki do?
Sure.
Or how does it work?
Yeah. So there's actually there's not a lot of large scale studies done on Reiki yet, just because of lack of funding. Reiki is not as well organized as some religions, but there's actually a large scale study going on in New York right now with 3,000 people. And they're looking at the effects of Reiki on breast cancer patients and heart surgery patients. I forget the hospital off the top of my head, but they're doing that right now as we speak. So that'll be awesome to see those. But the science behind Reiki is that when you connect with universal energy, you can channel it through your body into the person, and it helps stabilize their system, and it brings their cells into balance and their body into balance, and they feel peaceful. It brings them out of fight and flight and into rest and digest. There's hormone changes that happen, and we can see this on blood tests, and so it makes a really big impact on people.
So just kind of, I've had Reiki treatments for probably the last 25 years, and I'd never heard of any religious affiliation with practitioners that I worked with. It was all a universal, non-denominational kind of a thing, and I love them.
Yeah,
they're like body candy in a way, because you can go in just being like agitated or stressed or unsettled and just leave like peaceful, and it lasts. It's not like it's kind of like acupuncture or some sort of a treatment there. You just like calm down, you just feel peaceful and get clarity in your thoughts.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, that was my experience too. And I had the Christian background and had prayer at church, and I was struggling with issues myself that weren't getting resolved. And then I saw somebody who did energy work, and one of the types was Reiki that she did. And I left, and my muscles didn't hurt, and I felt great for the first time in probably 10 years. And that's made, I guess, the proof is in the pudding. And that made me a believer. And I thought, how do I learn this? You know, so.
Well, and it kind of, I have a Christian background, and, we were always learned about the laying on of hands and the transfer of energy. And I always just assumed that Jesus was practicing Reiki,
Right.
in 2,000 years ago.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
so, and I didn't realize that the official came through Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all neat.
Yeah. The history is that the Tibetan monks were actually doing it thousands of years ago, and there was many different styles of Reiki, and they came through to Japan, and then the Japanese monks, they there were 4 main types of Reiki in Japan, and Dr. Yusui, who he was a teacher, a professor, he was the one who kind of organized it and brought it to the lay people.
Okay. Okay. So if somebody was going to schedule an appointment with you, what would that look like for somebody who's, guide the person who's never had a Reiki treatment before through the experience?
Sure. So they come in for the initial appointment, and with the initial appointment, I talk to them about what's going on in their life or body, or they don't even have to tell me anything. They can just come in, and I initially do a scan, and I check their whole system from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head.
And so you're laying on a massage table.
Yeah.
Correct? Is
Yeah.
that you correct? And you're fully clothed, and it's
Right.
all okay. Got it.
Yeah, nice and cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I check, and what I notice is when people's energy is not flowing well, I won't feel anything. And if it's flowing well, my hands will warm up or they'll cool down. And so I'll check their whole system. And in Reiki, we call those blocks. And so what you do is you go above and below the block, and then you run energy through it, and then it dissolves the energy. There's a lot of different reasons.
Or it dissolves the block.
Yeah, the block.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
And gets the energy flowing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, got it. Well,
Yeah. And there's a lot of reasons people can have blocks. It can just be stress induced, or it can just be emotional grief or tension. There's just so many different reasons. It's not malice or bad, it can be easily cleared out. Yeah.
So, and I've had experience where there is different practitioners may do things differently, right? So sometimes it's like the hands are placed above the body, and sometimes the hands are placed on the body, and it really depends on is that practitioner dependent, or is it client comfort dependent?
So I base it on the client and what they're comfortable with. I prefer to go hands-on, but obviously, like any personal areas, I don't touch those, and I float above. And but yeah, I ask every single person who comes in, are you comfortable with touch? And if they say no, then I respect that boundary, and I don't touch them, and I just float. Yeah.
With the energy. Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, really, when you start studying about energy and vibration and all of those things, how much is going on that we don't pay attention to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
So is there a story or two that stands out for you?
I was thinking before I came in, some more like lighthearted stories that I think a lot of people can relate to. I had a client recently who came in, and she honestly just was hungover just from just a little too much fun over the weekend. And she said, "Oh, I have a headache, and I just feel exhausted. I had too much fun. Can you help me?" And I said, "Sure, let's do it." And I did an hour of Reiki on her, and she texted me an hour later or so and said, "Oh my gosh, I feel amazing. I feel so good. My whole body feels good." And then she texted me a few days later and said, "I still feel great. That's incredible." And so, yeah, I mean, Reiki can be great for really simple little things or, large things. I had another client who she was really struggling with grief after her husband passed, and she was feeling it physically in her body and just really bad back pain and spasms. And I did 3 Reiki sessions with her, and she was able to completely clear the muscle tension and the pain. And every time I see her now in public, she's like, "There's my Reiki lady."
Oh, that's
So yeah, it can go either way,
it's it's powerful stuff, and it's nice to have. It's nice to have a kind of like a toolbox,
Right.
right? So we have our Western medicine when we need Western medicine, and then we have more energetic and Eastern modalities when we need
Right.
them, because there's
Yeah.
not like one size fits all.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
It's like there's lots of our bodies are complicated things, right?
Right, they are. And I think the Western medicine is great, and like it needs balance, like you said. Like we need to do body, mind, and spirit. And so, right, you need medicine when you need medicine, but the medicine's not going to cure the problem if it's spirit based, energy based. So, yeah, you need those energy practitioners.
as well. So is there anything, well, and I also know that pets like Reiki.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
That it's
Yeah.
really popular with pets too, and they can tell the difference. And
Right.
I've been advised, even by my vets, to use Reiki with my pets during
Yeah.
certain times. And
Aw.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of sweet, and they're very sensitive.
Yeah, they are. I used to Reiki my fish when we had fish, and I'd put my hands on the fish bowl, and the fish would swim over by my hands and stay there. I know that's goofy.
No, but it just says how connected kind of we all are.
Right.
And like I said, I never learned about it as any kind of denomination. It was just a universal energy, because energy is universal,
Yeah.
and it was
yeah.
a universal healing modality.
Right, right. And that's what drew me to it, was it anybody can use it from any faith background. So whatever faith that you want to incorporate with it, you absolutely can. I tell people it's like getting in a car. Anybody can drive a car. You could be Buddhist or Christian or Muslim or or atheist. Anybody can drive a car. So yeah, that's what I like about it.
That's an interesting analogy. So if somebody was I always like to ask for kind of like a step forward. If somebody was kind of wondering about Reiki, or they're feeling kind of maybe unsettled and want to try it, what would be their next step?
Sure. So if somebody wanted to try Reiki, actually, there's a few different things that they can do. They can do a one-on-one session and try it privately like that. But then there's other ways that you can do Reiki, where you could do a sound bath, and maybe somebody's offering Reiki with the sound bath, and then that's done in a group setting, or like I did.
And when you say bath, it's not like you're in a bathtub.
Right.
It's like you're,
Yeah.
it's sound, right?
Yeah, it's just sound. You're laying
Okay.
on a yoga mat, and yeah, right. I know, for the people that don't know.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. There's
Those are really powerful too. I've gone through some of those too. They're fun.
right. Yeah, the sound even on its own is amazing. Yeah, it's really healing to the body. So yeah, there's great sound baths in the area, and then and even like I combined it with equine coaching. And we did a Reiki meditation out in the pasture, and the horses were walking around us, and that was really special. And it just gives people like a little glimpse of what Reiki is in a very low pressure kind of, not that there's any pressure, but like a safe place where they feel
Where they're
safe.
just comfortable to just try something a little bit different.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Where it's
Yeah.
very safe and okay. And if they wanted to find you, how would they find you?
I'm on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, and I have a website. It's the reikilady.net
Okay.
or the Reiki Lady. So
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we'll have those in our show notes as well. So good.
great.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, it's it's always so much fun to learn about new
Yeah.
things, right?
Right? Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Sherri. I'm so
Okay.
grateful to be on.
Okay. Well, we're so grateful to have you. Take care.
Yep.